She's a demon lord, she's a furry, she's a capitalist, she's high out of her mind, she has a fantastic voice, and she has a better track record of handling 5 guys than the average submarine that goes to see the Titanic. How could I not make a dedicated video about Beelzebub from Helluva Boss?
You are my new favorite person.
Am I though?
Yeah, bitch.
I mean, except for the furry thing. I'm obviously not into furries. I every time I talk about furries, somehow people think I'm into that stuff, and I'm not. Anyway, the newest episode of Helluva Boss that came out is actually the season finale of the first season, but it was tied up in legal issues for a while, and it took a while to drop. This episode introduced Beelzebub. Even if you are not familiar with the Helluva Boss world, I have a lot to say about Beelzebub as a character, which is why I decided to go ahead and make this dedicated video. But before getting into the nitty-gritty character shiz, we gotta talk about the relatively superficial stuff, and we gotta talk about the hatred and the Twitter drama and all that cringe that has come out of this entire kerfuffle, and then we could talk about an overpowered character done right. I don't know what I'm gonna do about in the next overpowered character done right. I wanted to do one on Stolas and I wanted to do one on Millie, but for now, Beelzebub. Leave a like for those. Now, in the Helluva Boss world demonology lore shizmahoozle, I will admit, I didn't get a PhD crash course, so I might get some itty-bitty bits of lore wrong, but as far as character writing, that is really kind of what I'll be doing here today. So, in the Ring of Gluttony, the demon lord of gluttony is Beelzebub. Now, Beelzebub, for those of you that are unaware, in demonology is the lord of the flies. That is what Beelzebub is known for. In fact, that is what Beelzebub means in Hebrew. Baalzvuv is the lord of the flies. Now, demonology and mythology and all that stuff is super up my alley, and I will not be getting into the nitty-gritty of what that represents. Maybe I'll do some demonology type analysis on, you know, the actual Beelzebub myth at some point, because I feel like that is something I want to do. But not today, and the reason why I'm not doing that today is because this Beelzebub, the one in the fictional universe created by Vtube, is not at all necessarily the same Beelzebub that shows up from time to time in historical mythos. I want to start off by mentioning that precisely because of the following. So much Twitter hate that Vtube has been getting is because it doesn't exactly represent the Beelzebub character that people understood from demonology, and in my opinion, being that this is a completely separate universe and full of their own characters just pulling from mythos as references, frankly, it doesn't matter. This is a standalone character. This isn't supposed to be some sort of interpretation of Dante's Inferno. And quite frankly, it peeves me that no one talks about this. People are like, oh, but Beelzebub is supposed to be the Lord of the Flies. Why'd you make her a furry? Well, obviously it's because she's incredibly hot. I mean, because that's what some people like. From a character design standpoint, immediately, I'd say A+. I think it just looks amazing. It's a larger-than-life type character. Fantastic voice, fantastic song, fantastic presence by the fact that even though this is a character that only existed in the Helluva Boss world for about 5 minutes of screen time in total, it is still one of the best characters and most impactful character introductions I've seen. Now, this isn't a character that's overall impactful to the plot itself. This is just one of the 7 demon lords in the overarching world, but it's not like at this juncture she's that important to the plot, yet she still captivates the audience. And also, shout out to her boyfriend, that furry guy. Like, my god, this is a Riz god. Man freaking pulled the baddest biatch in the show. Now, again, and I briefly wanted to mention this, she is known as the Lord of Gluttony, and another complaint that the Twitter freaks keep having is, but if she's the Lord of Gluttony, why isn't she fat? Are you fat-phobic, Vtube? Have you created a Lord of Gluttony that is not fat? I've seen Fudimeter Anakumistu. I know gluttony has something to do with being fat. And to that I say, this is just another fantastic representation in Vtub's court, because gluttony isn't about overeating per se. Now, that would be a form of gluttony because they're overindulging in something to the point that it's not healthy for them, but that's really the concept of what gluttony is all about. It's about the indulgence. So here you have Beelzebub singing loudly, flying around wildly, caving into any desire she might have, be it overeating, be it drinking too much, be it drugs, be it sex, but that doesn't necessarily mean gluttony needs to be a fat, tortured soul. In fact, if you look at all of the 7 deadly sins, at least so far in the world Vtube is creating, they're all characters that have taken this sin aspect to themselves, and that is their most impactful and empowering characteristic. Remember, this is taking place in hell. In the episode before this one, you had this scene with Asmodeus. Asmodeus made this whole hurrah, this whole to-do, this whole temper tantrum about how...
Who's that at your table? Is your data demon Prince? Stolas, is that you?
Are you sleeping with an imp?
Now, Asmodeus is the demon lord of lust in this world, and Asmodeus and Blitz's bro Fizzroli seem to have something going on. However, it is also clear that this something going on was pushed behind the scenes, and it is definitely something relatively lustful per se, but he still lives by the mantra of status. He looks at Stolas and he says, "Oh, how the mighty did fall," because he's hanging out with Blitz. Now, it's not that he doesn't believe in the lust aspect of it. No, he's all for that. This is his lustful lounge and he's chilling there. His complaint almost seems to be much more about the public appearance of Stolas and Blitz kind of hanging out together. Like they're more than just lustful compatriots, and they actually may have a relationship somewhat deeper than that. Now, if you take a turn to Beelzebub's perspective on all this stuff, Beelzebub is one of the demon lords, and yet she is clearly dating this random hellhound dude who looks kind of like Spider-Man 2099. But you see, Beelzebub, a character who believes in gluttony, something like this would not be taboo for her at all and fits really well into her understanding of indulgence, a trait that fits very well into her character. Now, she wants friends, she wants the social scene, so she'll treat Luna and talk to Luna like they're on equal turf, like they're just two gals hanging out.
You don't give a shit how freaky you come off, and that's fucking beautiful.
She'll challenge Blitz to a drinking game because they're just two people having a banging freaking awesome night. They're just having a good time. And that's what she's all about. It's not about the status per se. It's about that overindulgence. And now, when Luna actually is not listening to her, when she's saying, "Hey, Luna, take your dad out of here. He's making a bit of a mess." And Luna's like, "Nah, my dad's fine." Don't harp on the pride of this demon lord. And then she releases, you know, only 1% of her power and scares the crap out of Luna.
I mean, everyone likes you so much.
What's that supposed to mean? You got a problem with sour cream? Don't follow me.
And there is a lot of crap to be scared out of Luna. The Luna scat hentai is like straight up out of a... Overall, despite the very little amount of screen time Beelzebub actually had in the actual story, Helluva Boss, I think she made a really big impact, and it was a really powerful introduction of the Demon Lord of Gluttony. A character who, despite not actually talking about ideology at all, she was just having a banging great time. I think you're able to learn by how she acts and refers to others, as well as by how she sings with her whole heart on stage, as well as learning through the differences between her and the Demon Lord of Lust that we've seen in the episode literally just before that. At least it should have been if it wasn't tied up in legal issues. I think it actually does a really good job of painting a really powerful character and a really cool way to introduce one of the 7 demon lords of hell. Also, by breaking the taboos that have been set in our minds by Asmodeus, teaching us that all these characters have different perspective, different ways of life. The only thing for certain is every single one of them has a larger than life personality, is embodying the sin, turning what would be the greatest weakness for a human into their greatest strength and ideology, and also that the hentai for all of them is just gonna be incredible. Listen, what can I say? You get to my status, you get your port assistants, they fap for you. So yeah, I know this is a relatively short video. I just wanted to make a very cool, quick, thought out, in a nutshell take on A, the Twitter drama, B, the character design, and C, why I just think this is a really cool introduction for a character. Again, I didn't have a lot of narrative to work with here, but just from an introduction standpoint and just an impactfulness standpoint, I thought that Queen Bee over here deserved a video, and that's exactly what she got. Let me know if you want me to make more Helluva Boss analytical type content. I'm down to make an OP analysis on Millie and on Stolas as of right now. And if there's anything else you want me to talk about, you can definitely let me know. Just wanted to do a special dedicated thank you for all the support on Nuxanor. It actually means a great, great deal. Have yourself a most wonderful evening. Subscribe. That's right. Just be gluttonous. Indulge. Subscribe. Even click the notification bell. Oh, to go so far. And remember to stay weird, fam.